Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. Multi-dimensional means we're looking at the emotional, physical, mental, energetic and spiritual aspects of what this is so that you heal so fast. People in my world heal really fast. But let's talk about why the narcissistic abuse cycle is not a catalyst to your spiritual awakening. Some people are teaching this, that, oh, the narcissist comes in because it's part of your awakening process. This isn't true. And there's a couple of other things I want to talk about today, which also is not true, that are sort of taught in the spiritual world sometimes that is not spiritual, it's not true. So here's the thing. The narcissist is a destructive energy, right? Soul-detached human operating with an entity of consciousness called narcissism. They make a spiritual choice. They know what they're doing to a large extent, but they're under the influence. They're cooperating with a dark force, right? And their demons get irritated, and that's why they act out. For some people, they will destroy you, that they're a destructive energy to a point where some people will use their divine power to have a spiritual awakening and break free. But for a lot of people, this destructive energy will actually cost them their soul purpose, right? So whatever you know about, you come as, whatever you believe, like, here's my belief, well, here's what I know about it, is that, like, you incarnate as a soul on the planet with a particular purpose. Every single human on the planet is extremely important. They are not an accident, right? We're all collective, we're all connected as a collective, and we're all individual. We're not all one, yeah? We're one on a one level, but actually, your individual expression, what you came to experience, what you came to break karmically is very important to the whole, right? So you matter massively as an individual, not as this fuzzy idea. What people mean when they say we're all one, they just mean the God consciousness, on one level. But this is being misunderstood as well, because you have a unique purpose. Now, that purpose doesn't have to be anything that you consider grand. It is somehow related to love, right? It's your purpose. We have many different purposes as well. Purpose as a parent, purpose as a teacher, purpose as doing a profession that you love, right? It's going to be related to your experience of love on the planet in some way, which is the opposite of what the narcissist does, right? The narcissist is going to make you experience fear, lack of love, and all the lower emotional feelings in a low vibrational consciousness. Jealousy, abandonment, neglect. That's what the narcissist is here to help you feel, which will completely prevent you from your soul purpose. Some of you will be here to be, doing a bigger purpose on the planet. So the narcissist, and you'll be targeted often as light workers, empaths, people who are here for a bigger purpose will get even more heavily targeted a lot of the time. But here's the thing, it's not part of an initiation to a spiritual awakening. You're perfectly capable of awakening without a narcissist and without narcissistic abuse. And the challenge is a lot of people in these cycles will never reach anything like their purpose or potential or what they came to experience in relationships, in life, because of this. It's a distortion. It's a virus that's got too much power right now because we're feeding it. We're feeding it with fear. We're feeding it with obsession with narcissists. I mean, we're making them celebrities, right? This is off because what you're doing is feeding the wrong thing. Now we're being distracted into being so concerned with them, how they think, what they do. They're a dark energy. It's very simple. They're a destructive force, right? But what we're being distracted from is everything they distract us from, which is who you are, who we are, what we came to do, what we came to experience. Yes, collectively as one, but also individually, which matters. You didn't come by accident as an individual. So it is not true that they are initiation into your spiritual awakening. For many of you, you will not ever reach your spiritual awakening if you stay in these cycles, right? For most people, they may not ever. For some people, they will. Now, to break free, so I say in my Sovereign program, that is a complete elevation of your consciousness. You heal. I healed the trauma bonds. There's trainings in there, practically in terms of your conscious mind, but you would also spiritually evolve, because you have to, the narcissist disconnects you from yourself, your soul, and your personal power and spiritual truth, right? And when you reconnect to that, which is part of the Sovereign process that I go through with people, then you have an awakening, yeah? Because you start becoming aware of your own power. You can't say disempowered and spiritually awakened. So whoever's spiritual saying that like they've awakened, but they're still in chains, they're not awakened. Because when you actually awaken spiritually, and look, everyone goes through multiple awakenings actually in their life, and it's not a contest, it's a personal journey. But the point is, the more you go through spiritual awakenings, the more you understand how to work with God, the universe, and how to create in your life what you want to receive and experience, as well as how to be impactful, in healthy ways with other people. So people who are trapped in bondage in any way, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, are not awakened yet, right? But you don't need, the narcissist is part of the problem. It's not the solution. It's not the narcissist is part of your spiritual awakening. Absolutely not. Another common myth that people have been taught, and it's been misunderstood in spiritual communities, it seems to be that like this idea of mirroring, the idea that everybody mirrors you. It's not true. You have to know this universe is not always what it seems. Not everyone's like you. So a narcissist will never be mirroring your shadow, ever. They're not mirroring your shadow, and they're not mirroring humanity's shadow, because humanity isn't actually meant to self-destruct, but it is doing it sometimes because of distortions. In fact, most of you will know what you yearn for, what you long for is love. So, no. They're not mirroring you, and they're not mirroring your shadow. And we're taking very complicated, often, spiritual principles. They go into the mainstream, and then you get like the tip of the iceberg. So people take them as blanket rules. That's the things like about mirroring. That's things like about the ego and what it actually means, and law of attraction, that people start thinking they're attracting everything in their life. They're not. It's like you use it it's the context that we use these things in that matters, which means that all of these things, a lot of these things exist. Mirroring is a principle that is true to some extent in certain contexts. Law of attraction is true to some extent in the context of there are some things you can absolutely attract into your life, but there are other things that have got nothing to do with you as well, right? We live in a universe of everything. So we've got to understand the fullness of the universe if you really want to understand those principles. But the biggest thing to know is you're not on your spiritual path while you're being narcissistically abused. And the universe, remember I teach you about manifestation, your authentic desires, which means the love you want, the money you want, the experience you want in life, your true soul desires, right? You are an energetic match in the universe to them when you're being your true authentic self. So when you're being a version of yourself that is oppressed, sacrificed, then you're not a match to those desires, because it's the powerful version of you, the one that actually reclaims self, right? The one that's restored in self, that is a match to everything you want. So your job is to become that match, right? The universe isn't going to give it to you when you're in a different self. Because the self that you have to be to accommodate a narcissist isn't an energetic match to anything but narcissistic abuse, if that makes sense. So if you can join Sovereign, I'm reopening the doors 17th of July. It's a 6-module, self-paced, very heavily supported while I'm in the group, which will be for the first 6 weeks after July 17th. Other than that, we've got Live Fully Now as well that you can plug into. But hear me out, ask me any questions on this, because I think so many things are just misunderstood, and the fact, what people are teaching you is not true. A lot of the time, we're talking about a whole load of confusion on an issue that's actually very simple when you see what it is. The narcissist only has any advantage over you when you don't see who and what they are. And when you do see, that's why they're masters of illusion, right? That's why there's all smoke and mirrors, because the true power lies in you, your divinity, your spirituality, and your connection to the universe and to God, what you believe in. Everything else is actually a lie, but we fuel those lies enough, we give our power away, but the power's coming from us. And if you restore that in yourself, right, you restore it in your life. Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.